on the idea that Paige Bueckers is about to come into the WNBA and have the same kind of impact as Caitlin Clark. That's multiple GMs. Let's talk about Paige Bueckers and Caitlin Clark, and to a much lesser extent, A'ja Wilson. We've got a couple of WNBA general managers that have come out and blatantly thrown some cold-ass water. By the way, in case you're wondering, and I was curious about it myself, and we won't spend a ton of time on this, but I will show you. There are, and in fact, you might not be able to see it on my screen.
She'll never have Caitlin Clark's impact. That's what WNBA general managers are saying about Paige Bueckers right now. While Clark's games are moving to bigger arenas, Bueckers' debut isn't even sold out yet in a 7,000-seat venue. But here's what everyone's missing. This might be the best thing for Paige. Less pressure, lower expectations, and a chance to develop without the spotlight burning her up. Remember when everyone doubted Steph Curry too? GMs are playing a dangerous game underestimating Bueckers, and I've got the receipts to prove it. So the WNBA GMs are throwing some serious shade at Paige Bueckers. But what if that's actually the best thing that could possibly happen to her? Everyone's buzzing about how these front office execs are saying it's really hard to impact the game as a rookie, and claiming it's unfair to compare her to Clark's immediate impact.
Oh, okay, here we go. There they are right there. 2,044 and 3,067. So this is for Paige Bueckers' debut game. Yeah, it looks like you can't. I'm on Ticketmaster. There is a $2,444 ticket and a $3,067 ticket. Now, should be noted, don't forget, when Caitlin Clark and the Fever come to town, they're moving the game to American Airlines Arena, where the Mavericks play. So Paige Bueckers' debut is still in their regular arena.
That's not just an opinion. That's setting the bar crazy low for a player of Bueckers' caliber. Look at what's happening right now. Caitlin Clark's games are literally forcing venue changes to bigger arenas, while Paige's debut isn't even sold out in a tiny 7,000-seat venue. Seems like a bad sign, right? But this might be the blessing Paige never knew she needed. Think about other superstars who came in with low expectations. Steph Curry entered the league with serious doubts about his size and durability. Giannis Antetokounmpo was this skinny unknown player from Greece that nobody was hyping up. Now they're both multiple-time MVPs with championship rings. Meanwhile, Clark is living in this pressure cooker where every single mistake gets magnified like crazy. One bad shooting night, and social media explodes with hot takes. Every turnover becomes headline news. That's not exactly the ideal environment for developing your game. Bueckers has been through the fire already. Her college career was basically a masterclass in handling setbacks, coming back from that brutal knee injury, dealing with the weight of expectations, and proving doubters wrong. She's built different mentally because of those experiences. Sports psychologists talk about this all the time. Being underestimated creates this chip on your shoulder that fuels greatness. It gives you this internal motivation that's way more powerful than external hype. These GM criticisms, they're basically handing Paige a blueprint for what she needs to focus on to shock everyone. Playing without that Clark-level spotlight gives her room to breathe, to develop, to fail sometimes without it becoming a national crisis. Those GM comments about Paige not having immediate impact aren't just questionable. They might be flat out wrong. When multiple executives use nearly identical language to downplay someone of Bueckers' caliber, you have to wonder what's really happening. One GM actually admitted Paige has an MVP ceiling, but then claimed it's not as apparent as A'ja Wilson or Caitlin was, and suggested she needs to be a little more selfish to reach that potential. Wait, what? The same executives evaluating her ceiling are simultaneously telling us she won't impact games right away? Something doesn't add up. The truth is, WNBA front offices have a history of missing badly on rookie evaluations. They create these artificial ceilings for certain players while hyping others, then act shocked when their predictions fall apart. What these GMs completely miss is how Bueckers' game actually translates better to the pro level in many ways. Her basketball IQ, defensive awareness, and scoring efficiency aren't flashy stat patterns, but they're exactly what separates good pros from great ones. Unlike the volume shooting approach, Paige's calculated game causes less disruption to team chemistry, a crucial factor for rookies trying to earn minutes. Remember her clutch performances at UConn? The way she elevated teammates while still taking over when needed? That leadership quality gets overlooked when GMs focus solely on individual stats. You know what's really happening here? These GMs might be deliberately tempering expectations, either to protect themselves or to shield Paige from Clark comparisons. But their public statements are creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. Fans hearing "don't expect much" naturally show less enthusiasm, leading to those unsold tickets for her debut. When Bueckers steps on that court, her court vision, defensive timing, and mid-range game will shock these same executives who are playing it safe with their evaluations. The contrast between Bueckers and Clark couldn't be more striking right now. While Clark commands arena upgrades and media frenzies, Paige is silently preparing for her professional career in ways that might ultimately prove more beneficial. Those empty seats at her upcoming debut? They're not just spaces waiting to be filled. They're the perfect backdrop for what could become the WNBA's most compelling underdog story in years. Behind closed doors, Paige has been transforming both her game and mindset. The journey back from that torn ACL wasn't just physical rehabilitation. It was mental warfare. You don't face that kind of career-threatening setback without developing a unique form of resilience. That's something you can't learn from constant success. She's had to fight just to get back on the court, and that battle-tested mentality is exactly what separates good rookies from great ones. Think about what actually wins in the WNBA. It's not necessarily who puts up the flashiest numbers in college. The professional game demands physicality, defensive intensity, and ruthless efficiency. These are precisely the areas where Bueckers excels. Her calculated, methodical approach to dismantling defenses might not generate viral highlights, but it creates the foundation for sustained excellence at the next level. The 7,000-seat arena that's still filling up for her debut isn't some embarrassment, it's a gift. Without the blinding spotlight, Paige can focus solely on her game. No national debates after every missed shot. No overwhelming pressure to justify endless hype. Just basketball, pure and simple. When you consider how this setup aligns perfectly with her methodical playing style, you start to see why this seemingly quiet entry might actually be ideal. And here's the thing. History is literally filled with athletes who became legends because people counted them out. Michael Jordan getting cut from his high school team and turning into the GOAT? That happened. Tom Brady, picked 199th in the NFL draft, winning 7 Super Bowls, also happened. Sports psychologists like Dr. Joanne Dalcutter point to this exact scenario as the perfect motivation. The desire to prove others wrong can be a powerful motivator, fueling athletes to push beyond their perceived limits. So when Paige steps onto that court with her quiet confidence and determination, remember this moment. The GM's doubts aren't a curse, they're the ultimate gift. The perfect underdog story is just beginning.